We're watching films on the toilet, because that's what dads have to do. When the movie's unsuitable for your kids, then pretend you need a number two. If you need a break from your family or spouse, there's a lavatorial picture house. Watch Terminator 2 while you're sitting on the loo. Enjoy the whole of Rambo 4 with your trousers on the floor. We're watching films on the toilet. How about you?
Oh dear.
Brains.
Ah, you'll be my friend.
Oh, I love it when zombies say that.
Yeah. So, zombies.
Yay.
Zombies. Oh, Kai, welcome to Watching Films on the Toilet. Nice to see you. Thank you for coming. Podcast in which two dads make silly noises, watch films on the toilet, and chat about them. We've got two really special guests today, so we're not going to spend long introducing. We have Mr. Alex Robson, regular on the show, and his brother, Mr. Will Robson, who is a comic book artist.
Kind of like an upgraded version of Alex, isn't he?
He is, yeah. It's just a Alex 2.0. So we're going to chat to them in a bit about the movie Train to Busan, which we're very much looking forward to. But before we do that, let's...
Correspondence, Ben. Let's correspondence.
Correspondence.
Yeah, well done.
That's right.
Slick.
Hey, we got any letters, any catching up from previous episodes?
Yes, I'll go first. Dear Watching Films on the Toilet, it's friend/enemy of the podcast, James Cameron here. Sorry I've not been in touch for a while. I've been riding high off the completely unfounded success of Avatar: Way of Water. Anyway, I wanted to get in touch because I finally got around to listening to your last podcast. In an improvised conversation that you very quickly abandoned, Eamonn mentioned that he likes to keep birds, alive and dead. That's something of a connoisseur when it comes to dead animals. I'd love to hear more about Eamonn's birds, especially the dead ones. I'd be very interested if you'd be able to spare one of your dead birds. Have you got any? Go on, mate. Send us one of your dead birds. I just want to go on one. Send us a couple, yeah? The old ones are the best. Thanks, James Cameron.
Oh, wow. He wants to go on.
He wants to have a go on the dead birds. I don't know.
Wow.
I'm not quite sure what he means there.
Wow. But no, always fun to hear from him, isn't it?
Yeah, trying to keep that one going. What's your correspondence?
We've got a letter. I'll read it to you. Again, relating to a chat we had last week about Pick and Mix.
Oh.
And we do have some American listeners who don't know what Pick and Mix is. So, FYI, you would pay for a receptacle, normally a cup. There's a wall with different containers of sweets, and you use a scoop to scoop some out, and you fill up your cup.
Sometimes there's tongs.
Yeah, cup full of candy, basically, and you can pick the ones you like. Anyway, here's the letter.
Hi, this is John Wick. I wanted to talk to you about your pick and mix strategy you mentioned on the last episode. I agree that squashing down the softer candies in layers would allow you to fit more into the cup. But may I suggest you start with a handful of jelly beans. Whereas softer candies provide a flat layer to build upon, the harder candies have a greater surface area. The softer ones will squash between the jelly beans and form a firmer foundation, which will provide more resistance when you push down other softer candies. Also, I once strangled a man with a giant strawberry cable, so you might want to keep a few of those in your cup. Best of luck.
So it's John Wick there.
Wow.
Actual John Wick. Holy mackerel.
I was really invested when he was talking about sweet strategies. I was a little bit alarmed when he started talking about throttling people.
That's what he does, Eamon. It's John Wick. He kills people. That's how he rolls.
Does he do that all the time? He's just
he kills
chatting
everyone.
about the football, and he's just like, oh yeah, I knifed a guy in the back.
If it's someone that, he would. Just imagine a scenario. John Wick's killed someone in it.
Yeah.
That's it. I was thinking maybe you could stuff someone's mouth full of pear drops, and inevitably one would get lodged in their throat.
Or put a load of pear drops in there, then punch him in the face and break all the teeth.
Yeah, that would be... Oh, Eamon, that's violent. Yeah.
Or give people the cola bottles without the fizziness on them, and
they
watch
just
them
die anyway.
Watch them waste away from a sad life.
And just push them down an escalator.
And if they've not died of sadness, then yes, push them down the escalator.
You could,
yeah.
Yeah.
It usually takes a
work.
while for someone to die of sadness. So if you're against the clock, push them down the escalator as well.
I once had a handful of cola bottles, and I pushed a man down an escalator.
Do you know what's even the saddest of all? It's the giant cola bottles when they're not covered in fizzy.
They're not covered in fizzy. Are they?
Well, it's not sugar though, is it? It's not sugar.
That's
on the
the
outside.
title for the podcast for this episode. Covered in fizzy. I love it.
You know what I mean.
Oh, excuse? You got any ones covered in fizzy? Yeah, good. All right, but yeah, John Wick, thank you very much. Great tips. Great tips. Good stuff.
Cool.
All right, cool. Have we got any toilet news, Eamon?
No toilet news.
No toilet news.
No toilet news today.
There's none. There's none in the news.
Used all our mental capacity to think about these Robson brothers.
We have. So, yes, the Robson brothers. Let's not waste any time. Let's chat about Train to Busan with the Robson brothers. Let's get in their toilet. Hello?
Hello.
Hi, Will and Alex, are you in there?
I'm just here as his personal butler, so I can't answer for him. Sir, there's a rapping at the door.
What is it, Alexander?
You've never spoken to me like that. This is very strange.
Why, you're my butler. Pour me another Damson gin.
Come on, Alex, sort it out. Be a butler and open the
All right,
damn
all
door.
right,
Open the door, then we can unpack your weird family dynamic.
All right, come in for a therapy session.
Oh, hello. Hello.
Oh,
Why are
hello.
you... Oh, you're in the bath together. That's
Yes, this is a usual Thursday evening.
that's not. It's beautiful. And Will, you've got all sorts of sketches around put on the walls. I don't think Marvel or DC would publish these.
No,
They're,
they're mostly my brother in the nude. I like to draw him whilst we're in the bath.
Yeah.
I've got a
beautiful.
rubber ducky this time.
I mean, you could call it that, but it's anyway. Thank you for having us. It's lovely to see you both. We've had Mr. Alex on the podcast before quite a few times, but Will, this is the first time you've been on, so welcome.
First and last.
Yeah. So here we are with the hosts of the animated Spider-Man podcast, the Batman the Animated Series podcast. Alex, you do some things on the side, but Will, you are a Marvel / DC / all sorts comic book artist, which is very exciting. And you are launching your own zombie book, Outbreaks, on Kickstarter, which is kind of why we're here today, isn't it? So just wrap that up and then we'll move on. Go on.
Yeah, I'm a comic book artist and writer working for Marvel and DC and IDW and all these big companies. Yeah. But I wanted to create my own comic that I truly believe in because I just love zombies. I love the genre. I have since I was a little kid, ever since I saw Michael Jackson's Thriller when I was like 4, and the zombies scared the shit out of me. Not the dancing part, but the part when they're at the end trying to eat the girl. Stuck with me forever, and I love the genre, so I started my own zombie comic, which is called Outbreaks. It's kind of like the show Black Mirror on Netflix, where that show is an anthology series. Every episode is different and focuses on different types of technology. This is the same thing, but every single story focuses on different types of zombie stories. And we're really trying to push the limits of what a zombie story can be. And that's what's live on Kickstarter right now.
That's awesome, man. And congratulations. I have seen the first 5 pages as a preview and obviously supported the Kickstarter, and it's awesome. So I would urge anyone else to do the same thing. You were on our pals Extreme Horror Replay podcast the other day, and you talked a lot about your career, and they asked some really thought-provoking questions. I'd say that's a good companion piece to this, because we're going to talk about, I don't know, what zombified celebrity you would keep in your basement, for example. All right. And we're going to discuss Train to Busan today. So how did we watch the movie? Start with Eamon. How did you watch Train to Busan, Eamon?
Just watch it on the toilet at home, on the reg.
Like a boss.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done. Alex, how did you see it?
Well, since Eamon's in the past made fun of my 1.5 toilet visits or the mathematics to go into my toilet
Yeah,
visits,
stupid, isn't it?
I decided to just
What?
not go near the toilet because I just don't want to be made fun of again. So,
Can you fill me in on this?
last time I broke it up into like 2.5 visits, and Eamon wouldn't let it go. He didn't know what half a visit to a toilet was, which in hindsight doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah, no.
Doing a number 1 instead of a number 2, right?
No, that's a whole visit, isn't it, Will?
Oh God, Will.
If you're to stop your wee halfway through, then that's half a toilet visit.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough.
I'm so glad I brought that up.
Yeah, me too. Really glad.
Can we talk
Really
more
glad.
about you going to the toilet? I'd like to hear more.
Oh, we will. We will. Will, how did you
yes.
watch the film this week?
I watched it in my living room comfortably.
Oh, okay. All right. Did you go to the toilet at all while you were watching it? Or
Yeah, I usually go to the toilet once an hour because I have a very small bladder.
all right, great. And I watched it on the toilet too. Well, not too because you didn't, but I watched it on the toilet. Because I'm faithful. I'm faithful right now. We do something on the podcast called the Summer Wee. I will do a brief synopsis of the film in the time it takes any one of you to do a very long wee, typically the first wee of the morning, the longest one. So you need to have a drink of something for me.
I drank a pint of blood in
Okay,
preparation for this.
Was that nice?
It was a bit, how can I say, bloody.
Do you mind if I ask who the blood belonged to?
It belonged to my dog.
Oh, wow. That's my nephew you're talking about.
James Cameron would be proud.
Yeah, James Cameron would love that. Yeah, cool. Okay, and how long did the wee last after a pint of blood?
there was a lot of blockage, and it was.
Oh, for God's sake.
Oh, now he's grossed out.
Sorry, let me reword that. How long did the wee last after a pint of dog blood?
Minute and a half.
Minute and a half, cool. Okay, all right. Eamon, are you timing me?
Yeah, 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so there's this fund manager who's far more interested in his work than his daughter. She wants to spend her birthday with her mother in Busan. And when he sees a video of her crying at a singing recital because he wasn't there, he decides to grant her birthday wish. Unfortunately, the train they board at Seoul Station is overrun by evil dead zombies, and they have to join forces with this big dude and his pregnant wife, a baseball player and his cheerleader girlfriend, a couple of elderly sisters, and a homeless fella. They play a hectic game of whack, distract, or avoid, and manage to get off the train at one point, only to be forced back onto the train by a swarm of zombies. Then the true villain, this rich guy who will do literally anything to survive, think a slightly older Korean Matt Hancock, ruins it for everyone when he starts using people as human shields. The survivors make it onto the final train to Busan, only to be attacked by zombified Korean Matt Hancock, and the once selfish father sacrifices himself to save his daughter and the pregnant lady. They wander through a dark tunnel, and before a sniper can Night of the Living Dead the two of them, he hears the saddest song I've ever heard and changes his mind. The end.
Oh, well done. 1:07.
I appreciate the Night of the Living Dead shout out right at the end as well.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, I think you'd seen this movie before, right?
Yes, I think I introduced it to my brother. I'm
You did?
pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been talking about it for a long time, but Eamon just ignores me. So I finally got him to watch it.
Yeah, it's the first time I've seen it.
Do you not like to read subtitles, Eamon? Is that what it is?
No, it's not that. It's not that.
Bit small on the phone.
No, I'm not. As Ben knows, I'm not a huge horror fan. Just don't like being scared. So that's why I didn't watch it.
Okay, but Eamon, what were your initial impressions now that you've seen it for the first time?
The phrase that I kept on thinking about all the way through was that it was cliche free. At no point did I roll my eyes and go like, of course they've done that. Everyone behaved like according to character. The internal logic of the film was fantastic. There was no like leaps of faith you had to make in order to kind of make it work.
That's good. Will, how did you feel revisiting?
Yeah, I enjoy it. Look, I'm not a fast zombie guy. That doesn't butter my bread. I guess I don't know why I couldn't think of an analogy there. That doesn't bite my neck. But I find the slow zombies scarier because there's something that Edgar Wright said about slow-moving zombies is that they're like lava. They're just impending doom that's eventually going to get you, and you can see it coming, and it's going to be a slow and painful death. And I really love that about the zombie genre. And especially because slow zombies give you hope that like, oh, I can kill a few of them or I can dodge a few of them. I might be able to get through it. But in the end, they'll always kill you. Where fast-moving zombies, you're f***ed, right? Like, you're screwed. I would run outside and I'd do like a Jesus pose and just let one of them take me, because no one is surviving that at all.
No, they're too frantic, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Plus
these ones are intense as well. Like the way how quickly they transform and the way their body contorts, and some of them the way they would get up as well. It was almost like there was no effort in the way they got up. Their body would just automatically look like it's moving, and their brain had nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? Like they're just on a mission to just kill whatever's in front of them. And being in a narrow space like a train, I thought that was a really clever way as like a funnel system to like send them towards all of the helpless people on board. Yeah, I really liked the set of a train. I thought that was the best bit of the whole film.
Yeah, the way in which they used the train and split it up and used those doors as well. I felt that the zombies were sort of like, as I said, Evil Dead zombies. It was like they were on the border of being demonic and possessed in the way that rickety way they moved. How did you guys feel about that? Do you prefer your zombies more human or more demonic?
I've never been asked that before. Yeah, I guess I do like them more human when they look to be a bit possessed, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
Do you consider the threat in Evil Dead to be zombies? Because that's something that a lot of people debate, because they are not zombies to me.
No, I would agree. They're not zombies to me either, but the way the makeup design and just the jitteriness of them, I'd say was more Evil Dead than the Night of the Living Dead, for example. What about you, Eamon? How did you feel about them?
I was hoping one of you were going to say, I like my zombies like I like my women. So you let me down there.
Sorry.
In what's no finish?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, no, I can't think of a way of completing that without making it horrific.
Jittery with white eyes? Is that?
Yeah, without a pulse. Yeah, it's all
Foaming
horrible.
at the mouth.
Yeah. But Eamon, what do you think? Did they freak you out?
They did. I didn't realise there was this delineation between what's the official zombie type then? Is it slow and dumb?
No, there is a spectrum. The classic fast moving. They started in, I guess, 28 Days Later was really the first to sort of do it.
Yeah.
But now they've become a huge part of just zombie culture, especially in video games and things like that.
What I loved about these ones was their behaviour was so on point. I loved it when it went dark and they just sort of stopped. It's really creepy. And I loved that they could use that as a tool to sort of get around them.
I just rewatched Land of the Dead. I hadn't seen it for 20 odd years or something like that. And they did something in it that I forgot that I really liked, where they would set off fireworks to distract the zombies.
Yeah.
And all the zombies would just look up at it and just be mesmerized by it.
Ooh.
And that reminded me of like, Train to Busan with the lights and stuff like that. The great thing about that story is they eventually overcome that. And it's such a great moment in the movie where like they're all looking up and then they just start looking at everybody like that don't work on us anymore. And it's like, oh my God, like it's a terrible movie, but it's a good scene.
That was, I guess in this, it was more like they became a bit too reliant on it and it failed them ultimately, didn't it? And also with the tunnel system, you don't quite know when it's going to cut out. It was really effective.
That was definitely my favorite scene of the whole film, for sure. Like when I went back and watched it again today, I was so invested in that scene. And even though I'd seen it, I was like, oh my God, go, go, go. You know, like I got that feeling of like the stakes are high here, especially sneaking up where they store all the luggage. I thought that was really clever. I love that. Even though, don't they usually have dividers in those things?
They do.
Yeah. For the sake of the
but
plot.
don't you want to have fun? Like,
yeah.
Sure, guy.
No, ruined the film.
Yeah, besides that, I really liked how they were looking at their phone, like looking at the sat nav and being like, okay, we got a tunnel coming up here.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I loved about it. Is like the people in it were not like, they didn't behave stupidly just to move the plot on. All the behaviour was what you would actually sort of expect from people in that situation.
Which of the, I guess, the guys who had to don weapons and fight through the zombies would you have been? So there's the dude who wraps the like sellotape around his arms to protect himself. There's the bat guy. And then the dad, did he have like a shield? Was that what he had?
At one point, he
to bash them out of the way. Who do you think you would have been in this scenario?
I would have been the businessman who would do anything to survive in the back.
That guy.
I would not be fighting zombies to save everyone.
The Tory in the carriage. Yeah.
Not that I am. I'm not. But I would, in this sense, yes, I would wave a Tory flag
Hey guys, join my carriage. But again, he was obviously the villain of the piece, and the one that he
Great
was the
villain.
one you had.
Brilliant
He was
villain.
great.
He was cracking me up, just like throwing people into
Yeah.
zombies and stuff.
But
Yeah.
he was just ultimately trying to survive in the
Right.
worst possible selfish way, but it did make sense.
My wife is quite a cynical person, and like she had no problem with that character. She's like, I get it. Like I did the same thing. Stranger, be bitten, not me. Like
Yeah. The true hero of the film.
Yeah.
Ben, did you have a person, one of those three people who you most related to?
I think I want the bat. I like to bat them all out the way.
Well, that is on trend for Ben, because when he were at school, he used to get goaded all the time into going out with hot women. I love that scene on the train where we're all like, go out with that hot girl. And he's like, stop. Lads, stop. I don't like it. That's the only time I didn't quite believe the logic of
Go
that.
out with her.
He used to get it all the time.
Yeah, I did on the bus. Yeah.
I want to
think we
get to
can
know
all-
her on the inside.
I think we can all relate to that, can't we? We've all been there.
100%.
This is the only time you hear my brother being quiet in situations like this.
Yeah, that was odd. Why was he so like, oh no, I don't like her. Oh, she was all over him. What a wuss. But he died, didn't he? So it's
He
fine.
did.
I mean,
She died in his
everyone-
arms.
yeah, everyone died. Everyone died except the two most protected characters.
The scene when the dad-to-be, when he was saying goodbye to his wife,
Yeah.
and it wasn't like a big moment where it's like, let's take a really long time. Like, Eamon, speaking to what you're saying, like, realistically, that wouldn't happen if they took ages to be like, say a proper goodbye. And because he's holding a door of zombies and he's like, get out, I'm going to turn, go. And all he simply says is like, go run. And then he shouts the name of the kid. He's like, that's the name of our child.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's great. That's such a great way to close that character out before he goes.
and the name was of the child that he named after them.
In a very similar way, when the dad, the main dad, says bye to his daughter, I was thinking to myself, if the daughter sings that song now, this entire film is ruined, because they don't have time for her to sing this song. And I was so relieved when she didn't. And then actually when she did it at the end, it was really sweet. It was really like poignant.
It was heartbreaking. It's really the way she sang it as well.
She was brilliant.
As you said, Will, you picked up on my reference there in the summer they didn't Night of the Living Dead it. So obviously in Night of the Living Dead, the survivor is murdered at the end. How would you have felt if that sniper just shot those two? Would that have
Yeah, I would have been fine with that because it would have been an ode to the original Night of the Living Dead.
yeah.
I know my brother, he's never seen the original Night of the Living Dead, but he watched the 90s remake, which switches up the ending of it. And I remember telling him about the original ending. He's like, oh, that's way better. It's because it's such, you've experienced this whole movie. He's the sole survivor of this crazy house. And it's just a bunch of good time boys like, bang, right, put him in the pile, we're moving on. You're like, oh my God.
It is brutal.
It's one of my
Absolutely
favorite
brutal.
endings to a movie ever, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Eamon, would you have preferred the two women to die? Or you quite like it when the women die in the films, don't you? So was that how do you feel about that?
I think I would have felt very sad, but I would have also felt that adheres to the logic. Army folks not known for their dilly-dallying, but then in the way that they sort of saved themselves with that song, I think also sort of made sense. So I think they'd done so brilliantly up to that point. They could have done anything.
What, do a TikTok in the tunnel?
Yeah, if she started doing the Running Man, I was just like, fine.
A really sad version.
A really sad version, the Running Man. I was just like,
Yeah.
Hello.
I was thinking the guy might hear the song and be like, oh, that sounds terrible. Bang, bang.
I hate that song. It reminds me of my stupid wife. Bang.
I've got a bit of a problem though with the singing, as much as I know it's part of the plot device and it saves their lives. If you're on your own, right, like you're a pregnant lady with a child and you're going into an area where you don't know it's safe or not, I would be like, can you stop singing, because you're attracting attention from everywhere in this apocalypse right now. Like, shut up. I would be like, the moment she starts singing, I'd be like,
the new
no,
ending
not
is
now.
bang, and the lady just shoots the child.
She just carried a gun with her all that time.
I'm safe now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good point. They were just completely broken at the end. There was a line at the beginning, which I wrote down, which I thought thematically just summed up the whole film. There's the deer right at the beginning, which kind of reanimates itself. And the truck driver says, such a shitty day. And I thought, yeah, that is this entire film. Have you ever had a day that bad, Eamon? I mean, it's a weird question. You don't have to answer it. We can move on.
I've
Let's all think about the worst days in our lives. Right? I think mine was when my mother died. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was, and I watched her go in the hospital room. That was my worst day.
Wow.
And then she came back as a zombie.
I'm really glad I asked that.
I once, when I was working in Camden, I once saw an old lady whose head got run over by a cement truck, and it went like that. That the sort of thing you're after?
Good God!
what you
Wow!
wanted?
Just trying to provoke discussion.
Mum's dying of cancer, old lady's head's exploding.
Eamon, why don't
Ben,
you ask
you're
a question?
Sick. You're
I know.
sick, Ben.
Good, excellent. Well done. Well, Will's book's coming out soon, and on that note,
What's the worst day of your life, Ben?
it was a silly question. Right, I've got a question that hopefully won't make us all cry and sweat. You can pick one zombified celebrity. So the apocalypse has happened. We're all okay. You can pick one zombified celebrity to keep in your basement. Who would it be? Who do you want?
I think I'd keep Sir Paul McCartney, because I bet even as a zombie, he's probably like, like, I bet he could still carry a tune as a zombie.
That would be nice.
I wonder if he's do that thing where he sort of purses his lips. He does that all the time. I wonder if the zombie I wonder if
Someone bring me some human meat, baby. Yeah.
How long would his pair of Converse last?
I won't last that long to find out.
No, that's true. I think I'd have James Corden because if I felt awful, I could go down to the basement and think, at least James Corden's dead.
Oh, I thought you were going to give him a whack or something.
No, and then I'd whack him. Yeah, and then I'd lay into him. That would be good.
Yeah.
So that would work.
That'd be great. You'd get home, say to your wife, I had a rough day. Just heading into the basement.
How embarrassed would you be if he accidentally broke out and bit you and you became a zombie because of James Corden?
Yeah. He turned into a zombie because of James Corden.
The zombie infection would somehow be worse if you were bitten by him. You'd be a zombie, but the other zombies wouldn't let you near them because they'd hate you as well. So you'd have to just walk around on your own for the rest of your life. Eamon, who would you have?
But Pat Butcher from EastEnders?
Why?
Go on.
Why not? Looks fun, doesn't she? Pam St. Clement?
Little bar down in the basement then or something.
I'd look after her really well. I'd get all sorts of zombie earrings, which she would love.
Yeah.
Again, interestingly, I've chosen someone with a puckered mouth as well. So, Alex, which puckered mouth celebrity would you choose?
Oh, so it's even harder now. Thanks.
I mean, the three choices, we've exhausted all of the celebrity choices, haven't we? How could you possibly choose
Funny
now?
enough, all English choices as well.
That's true. I like the idea, Eamon, that you'd set up a little bar scenario, like your own homemade Queen Vic, so you could get Pat as a zombie to reenact her.
I think she's so familiar with the patter that she just has that muscle memory, and you could just play along with it and be like, you wouldn't believe it, Pat. He's only gone and done a runner, and she'd just go, ugh.
Yeah.
Do. I guess mine would be Gordon Ramsay, because having Gordon Ramsay
Eating different people would be like,
yes,
delicious.
Yes. I would actually feed him different things to see
Come down the stairs, he's like, hello, big boy. Oh, cool. God, what you got for me today then?
Just chained up, and he's just constantly trying to get to things, but yeah, he's still got a refined palate.
You'd have to You'd probably have to actually, you can't just give him the raw meat. You'd have to do
You
a
would.
tartare and then blend it with other things.
Yeah.
Well,
some
that's the
salt,
thing,
give it a
right? Yeah,
slap.
I would really enjoy that, and I'd improve my chef skills. I'd also become a serial killer and murder people, obviously, because I've got to feed him. But that's
Of course.
part of the course.
I like to think that he'd say all his zombie words, but he'd also still say, yes. That would be fun. No
And
swearing.
I'd take great pleasure in running up to him with some bread and go, "What are you?" And he'd go, "It's orange."
I mean, he's halfway there, isn't he? Like, if you've seen him recently, it doesn't look good.
No, he does look a little.
And this is Ben and I often talk about Joe Rogan's human growth hormone consumption. I'm convinced Ramsey is on the same because his head is just huge.
Why didn't you tell them about your Gordon Ramsay dream that you had?
Yeah, Alex, why don't you tell us about that?
So I, a few years ago, I had the weirdest dream where Gordon Ramsay came to me one day and he's just like, "You are the new guardian of the timeline." And I was like, "What are you on about, mate?" And he's like, "You've got to come with me, I'll show." And he pulled like this hood off, and his head, you know, has all these wrinkles. Yeah. He's like, "This is the timeline of Earth. Everybody's timeline takes place in my forehead." I mean, now it's not so bad because it's actually gaining some weight. My lines have gone from my forehead, but back in my skinnier days, I had quite a like liney brow. I guess you'd call it a liney brow.
Right.
And that was playing on my mind. So in my dream, he was like, "I'm passing the torch and you're going to be the new guardian of the timeline and it's going to go into your head and you're going to have to take over."
I just love that the reason why Gordon Ramsay has deep lines in his forehead is because he's protecting us all from like all of the world turning into like
a multiversal disaster.
But I love that, like, your anxiety about your brow has been manifest. Like, the way it's manifested is the universe is at stake. Actually, you've just got a line on your eyebrow.
Yeah, just got a couple lines, but that was enough for me and my insecurities to think that it's a big world problem.
Oh man, I'm really jealous. I never have like coherent dreams like that. That's amazing.
Well, I have a lot of reoccurring zombie dreams, and I love them. They're great. I wake up, I'm like, well, that was fun. You know,
do you normally win?
Zombie apocalypse. Well, I had one where I was in my grandmother's house and a zombie was getting in, and my dad. It got up through the top window and was coming in, and my dad saw it was coming in, and he went, "Oh, for sake, William! Like, you let another one in!" And it was, like, bring me back to my childhood, like my father's telling me off because I let a zombie in, and I was like, "It's not my fault. The window wouldn't shut properly."
Do you think that has anything to do with the fact that you watched Thriller at a young age? Because I watched Alien when I was really young, and it's subsequently become my favourite film series. But I had loads of nightmares about aliens when I was a kid.
Well, there's 3 movies that have defined what I find frightening, but have just established my interests for the rest of my life, and they're all horror. It's The Exorcist, which I saw as a kid, which scared the crap out of me, and has given me a deep fear of anything when it's like a little girl's possessed or a little girl ghost or anything like that. That's the scariest thing to me in the world, because it's just, here's pure innocence but evil, and I find that very scary. The other one is Jaws, where I don't like to go in the ocean at all, and I have a deep fear of sharks, but I have a deep fascination with sharks, and I love learning about them. And then the other one is zombies, because of watching Thriller. I still remember seeing it like at my mate's house, like before, because me and my brother, we moved to America when I was like 7. I just remember being at my friend's house and it was just on TV, like in their conservatory. I remember Michael Jackson turning with the yellow eyes, and I remember it being like, I should not be seeing this right now. This is terrifying.
What zombies would you say have most influenced your artwork when you draw zombies?
Well, my favorite zombie movie is a movie called Day of the Dead, which is the last Romero trilogy film.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a severely underrated movie. It set up so much stuff that was way ahead of its time, because it showed us the zombie apocalypse like months, even years down the line, which nothing had ever done before. It was always about the outbreak.
Yeah.
And it was the first one to show, like, if you get bitten by a zombie and you chop off a limb, you might survive the bite. And like it established all this other stuff where I was like, this is like really interesting. And smart zombies as well. That was with Barb and all that stuff. That's a very famous thing. But I always found the zombies in that movie really, really scary.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, Greg Nicotero worked on that film, who eventually did all of the zombie makeup for Land of the Dead, and then obviously The Walking Dead, which he took over as a showrunner. So Greg Nicotero's style of zombie, which is just a rotting corpse, I think that's the best that zombies have ever looked.
Just rotting corpses is what you're into.
Especially if it's like puppetry, like if it's a zombie that is clearly a puppet, but it's got like half its jaw missing and stuff.
Yeah.
There's something just terrifying about You're supposed to be dead. You are rotting. You're turning into nothing. You're disgusting, and you want to eat me. That's so personal. Like, no,
Yeah.
get away from me.
I think that's a fair response. Yeah. Do you know what, mate? Actually don't want you to eat me. It's a hard no.
I've got a little game for us to play. I guess if it had to have a name, it would be called zombie movies or non-B movies.
Right.
So these are movies that sound like they could be zombie movies, and some of them are actual zombie movies, and you have to tell me which is which.
Okay.
There you go. Those are the rules. Eamon, I'll start with you so you can get subjected to it first.
Okay.
My first film is called Scarlet Street. Is that a zombie movie or a non-B movie?
I'm going to say non-B movie.
You are correct. That was a 1945 film noir, not a zombie movie.
Yes.
Alex, ready?
Yeah.
Make Out with Violence. Is that a zombie movie or a non-B movie?
Make Out with Violence. That also sounds like a film noir or a zombie porno. I am going to say it's a non-B movie.
It is a zombie movie. It was made in 2008. Will, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. The Roost.
I'm gonna say that's a non-B movie.
That is also a zombie movie. It's set on a farm. Zombies on a farm. It was made in 2005.
Was it like zombie chickens or something being called The Roost? That's what I think.
I don't know if it's like zombie chickens, but I think people kind of get stranded in a farm.
Is it coming off of the phrase like, "Oh, they rule the roost"? Like they're the rooster. It's like they're in charge of like the hen house. So
I'm going to agree. I haven't seen it, but
That's what they're going for.
let's go with it. Maybe that's the tagline.
Is it roost with like a Z at the end, like the roost?
No, no, it's just Roost. Yeah, there's a dollar sign for the S. But,
Don't
know why.
Money. Guaranteed money making that.
All right, Eamon, Black Sheep.
Oh, I think I know that one. That is a zombie film. It's like a comedy sort of horror, right?
It was, yeah.
Yeah,
it was.
I do know that one.
Okay. For you,
Yeah, me too, totally.
he's all over it. You got a tattoo, haven't you?
Oh yeah, black sheep.
Black sheep
On my back.
tattoo on your
Yeah.
throat.
Yeah.
Okay, this one, Ed and his dead mother.
Oh God, Ben. I said Numby, and we've had a
Ed
bunch
Dead
of...
Redemption is the sequel.
I always try and think there's some pattern to your madness here, where I'm like, well, we've had a few zombies.
Oh, there's no pattern.
There's no pattern. Ed and his dead mother. I'm going to say a non-B movie.
It is a zombie movie.
Oh, that's two losses.
It's about this guy called Ed and his dead mother.
I'm in. That sounds great.
That does sound good.
Sounds good.
That sounds
All
like an
right.
Outbreaks
Is it like
story.
Psycho, but she's a zombie? Because that sounds fun as well.
I just
Write that one down for an Outbreak
bit, yeah.
story.
Yeah.
You could call it Psycho, but the S is replaced with a Z. No, it doesn't.
Or a dollar sign.
Or a dollar sign.
Sorry.
So,
You?
have you seen the cover of this movie? How it's an old woman with a small dog on her plate and she wants to eat it. It doesn't really make me want to
mental.
watch this movie.
This is mad. All these films are great. You should watch them all. Right, Will, last one. Let's go with Elevator to the Gallows.
Because these are all actual films, whether they are zombie or not.
Yes. Yeah,
Nombi, because what the hell does hanging have to do with zombies?
that's true. It is a 1958 French crime thriller. Cool. Well, that was the game. Nombi or zombie?
Hey.
Hey.
Da.
Da-da.
Who knows where it might go next?
I got everyone wrong. Woo.
Yeah, well done. Well done. I think I would have as well. So
fucking
it is
pissed
that
off.
time of the show where we decide whether we're going to fish Train to Busan out of the toilet or flush it away. So will we fish it out, much like that father whose name we don't know fishes his daughter out from under the train, or will we flush it? Like I imagine all of those rotting corpses were flushed away when the whole thing was over. Will, would you fish this out of the toilet, save it, keep it on your mantelpiece, or flush it away because it's a load of trash?
Absolutely keep it. I think it was a fresh zombie movie. I know there is a sequel, but I haven't seen it because I've heard nothing but bad things about it.
I've actually seen it.
Oh, how was
Go
it?
on.
Not good.
Okay. But Alex, what would you do with this movie?
I would definitely fish this one out. I really like this movie. It's a movie that stood out to me when I first saw it, and it's now definitely one of my all-time favorite zombie films, or at least a zombie film that I would watch more than once and still enjoy it.
Eamon, what about you?
This is probably going to surprise you, but I think I'd flush it. I think it's a piece of shit.
Oh, and that's that.
Yeah, get rid of it.
Such a liar.
No, of course I'd fish it out. I thought it was brilliant, really refreshing. Like I said, really believable and, yeah, tight. What about you, Ben?
What about me? I would definitely fish this out. It's one of my favorite zombie movies. I get more out of it every single time. I forgot how heartbreaking it is. It's just one of those films that it gets this tone that you rarely see. It's kind of like an adventure movie in parts. It's quite funny, but then it's devastating. And they get everything right. It's really, really clever. But that means all four of us have fished it out. So Train to Busan is going into our tank of glory.
Ooh.
Hooray! Which means something else in our tank of glory has to leave. So in there at the moment, we have Top Gun Maverick, Trespass, The Banshees of Inisherin, Copland, and the actor Jonathan Majors, because he'd put in some great performances and we felt bad for flushing both of the films that he'd been in.
Yeah.
So
I haven't seen any of those movies.
you
seen
any?
Copland?
What's Copland?
With Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, Stallone and
He plays a big oaf, a big, thick oaf.
Like every other movie.
You really had to dive deep for that one. But no, I vote to keep Copland. You can scrap the rest.
So I have given each of these films and actor a number between 1 and 5. Will, since this is your first time on the show, can you pick a number between 1 and 5, please? And this will be what is leaving our tank of glory and being replaced by Train to Busan.
1.
Here we go. Number 1, Copland is leaving and being replaced by Train to Busan. But what a great
Copland is a good movie,
substitute.
but do I want to ever see it again? No. I've seen it.
Okay, cool. So into the tank of glory it goes. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for having us in your toilet. I mean, you've both been in the bath the whole time, so it must be quite cold now.
Yeah, you're shaking and you've both gone purple. Please get warm.
So keeping with the zombie theme, which is good. Just where can we find you? And what should we do to you if we do?
Yeah, it's a funny question because I'm naked, so you asking me that is very strange. Okay, so for all those that haven't heard me on this pod before, I do 2 podcasts with my brother. One is Spider-Man, the Animated Series podcast, and the other one is Batman, the Animated Series podcast. Both podcasts, we review the acclaimed 90s animated series, Spider-Man and Batman. We have guests on the shows from both shows, from writers to voice actors to directors to the showrunner of Spider-Man, the Animated Series. And we goof around a lot, and we have silly scenarios that our listeners write in and have us enact just completely off the cuff, which has been fun. So yeah, if you guys want to check it out, just go to any podcast platform, check out Batman the Animated Series podcast or Spider-Man the Animated Series podcast. So yeah, check it out.
Alex. And Will, plug yourself.
You can find me anywhere at Robson Inc., and that's ROBSONINK on the interwebs. And please go to Kickstarter, search Outbreaks, and support my book because I want it to be a thing.
Thank you very much, guys. We'll let you clean yourselves up. Take care.
That's what my brother's here for.
You're a butler.
Butler has a new meaning now.
It always did.
That's right. It's the origin of the word. Now
I'm always a butler. Right, Eamon, come on, get out.
That's my secret, bro. I've always been a butler.
All right, see you, boys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Cool. So that was great. Now time for this episode's top 5. Typically, myself and Eamon would guess our top 5 movies based on a particular movie theme. And then the winner gets to pick next time's film and the loser gets a forfeit. This time we've switched it a little bit, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've mixed it up a bit. We're going to choose our top 5 train stations. Top 5 actual train stations.
We did this once before with egg preparations.
We did.
It was terrible for Ben. Let's see how it goes this time.
Okay, so I get to go first because I lost last time.
Having discussed this with Ben offline, I don't think that we're going to get any of each other's. But
Yeah, I don't think we are either.
No.
But let's see how it goes. All right, so I get the first guess.
The first one.
God, this is not going to happen, is it?
No.
I'm going to go with a duplicate.
Whoa.
I'm going to say Exeter train station.
Next to St David's, or
Yes.
No.
Exeter St David's. Oh, okay. You're not picking that one?
No, I'm going to say London Victoria.
No, not London Victoria. I'm going to say Leeds.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
You should have chosen that because I've talked about that's the moment of one of my greatest victories in life.
You have. Yeah.
I accidentally used the ladies' toilet and got away with it.
You did.
So well
That's
done.
True.
Well done.
Okay, cool. Your turn.
London Bridge.
London Bridge, yes. I have chosen London Bridge. Yeah, I enjoy the spread of London Bridge. You got your overgrounds on one side, you got your underground on the other.
Got the Shard as well. Love the
You've got the Shard there. You've got
Mm.
they've just kind of added some new shops. So it's quite nice. Yeah, I like London Bridge. All right, good. Is it my choice again?
You sure that shouldn't be the title of the episode? Yeah, I like London Bridge.
I like London Bridge. Oh God! All right, next one for you. I'm going to say Reading.
No.
Okay, last guess.
Last guess. God, I'd love it if I won.
You might.
I will go for Oxford Circus.
No.
Oh,
So is that it?
that's it.
Did I go with one duplicate?
Yeah.
You didn't go with any duplicates.
I won.
So you win. But that's ridiculous.
Okay, what did you have?
So I had London Bridge, St Pancras International.
Oh, yes, that
Beautiful
is a good
station.
one. Yeah.
Angel, which has massive escalators, which I really enjoy. Blackfriars, because it's on a bridge, and you get a sweet view of the Thames. And Exeter, St David's.
Yeah.
What about you?
Very London-centric, your choices, if you don't mind me saying so, Ben.
That's where I spend most of the station time.
Yeah. So I said Leeds, which you got. Marylebone, which is just a beautiful station.
Oh, exquisite design.
Yeah. You went far off with Exeter St David's. I went for Bristol Temple Meads. Westminster, I like how industrial it looks.
Yeah,
Huge and
it's
cavernous.
sick. Yeah.
And Edinburgh Waverley Station as well.
Okay.
Because it's a nice looking station.
Yeah, I wasn't getting that one.
No.
Good. Well, that was ridiculous.
That was probably won't do that again, will we?
No. So what's my forfeit this week?
Become a train driver.
Become a train driver. Okay, I'll be a train driver.
And last time you had to fight a heavyweight boxer. How did that go?
I did. Well, it went this way. So in preparation for my fight, I've watched every boxing movie, and I've seen that a lot of the fights end in the same way. So I'm pretty confident about my strategy, which I think is going to take my opponent by surprise.
Here we are for this much anticipated fight between heavyweight champion Tyson Fury and Ben, who has somehow managed to get an immediate shot at the title with no previous boxing experience and a startling weight difference. Going in, Ben claimed he would be trying to avoid Fury for 12 rounds, and he seems to be sticking to that game plan, jogging from corner to corner and keeping his distance from the champion. But looks like he's now walking very slowly to the middle of the ring, bobbing up and down, almost like he's in slow motion. Now he's throwing very slow punches. Tyson isn't quite sure what's going on. A very slow left hook there, and it's all over. Ben is down, probably dead. And Tyson Fury, still heavyweight champion of the world.
What are we watching next time, Eamon?
We're going to watch John Wick 4.
We're going to get pick and mix, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah, we are. Bit of a challenge, I think.
I'm on a low-carb diet, so that'll have to be my treat day that I eat those. That's very much going from 0 to 60.
That is. Yeah, you're
carb terms.
The Tesla of diets, right there.
Yeah, I might kung fu kick
works,
my
but-
way through that cinema after
Hell
I've eaten
yeah.
a few fizzy cola bottles.
Yeah, and like shoot loads of people in the head.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do that
Okay,
one, no.
cool. Well, well, you know me. I'm really looking forward to John Wick 4.
I know you are.
I can't wait. Scott Adkins, Donnie Yen, Keanu. It's going to be big. It's going to be big. Okay, cool.
So one more thing to do, Ben. We need to thank our Patreons.
Yes, we
and
do.
Why don't we do that by playing this game? What
Okay.
pick and mix item would our Patreons be?
Oh, that's such a good idea. Okay, so first of all, should we start with Mike Foster?
Mike Foster.
Mike Foster. He's reliable.
Yeah, he's solid.
He's tasty.
A cube of fudge.
Oh, he's a cube of fudge.
Yeah,
but he's reliable, tasty, and he melts in the mouth. Hope he likes that.
Yeah.
There we go. Good.
Okay,
let's start. Big Ben.
He's
big.
He's big.
He's long.
He's long.
He's used to pack down other sweets.
I can see where you're going. Yeah, he loves packing down other sweets. He's always going on about it.
That's his podcast.
Yeah.
Extreme Pack Down Sweets Replay.
He's a cable.
He's a big long strawberry cable, isn't he?
Well, I was going to say, let me put a twist on this. He's the apple flavoured one.
He's the one you'd be surprised to see.
I get both. If they have red cables, I'm like, great. If they have red and green, I'm like, fucking yes.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely delighted.
And that's how we feel about Big Ben, isn't it?
It is. Fucking yes.
And then Raph. Our friend Raph. He's very sweet, isn't he? He's very sweet.
Is he a white chocolate mouse?
Is he a white chocolate mouse? I'm thinking there's a bit more to him than that. You know, a white chocolate mouse, tasty but basic. Mm-hmm. You know what he is?
What is he?
He's a couple of cherries, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
He's a couple of cherries. He's got a lot going on. Yeah. He's twice the fun.
When you taste it, you go, ooh wee.
Ooh wee, ooh wee.
That's what you say when you meet Raph.
And then you swallow it.
Yeah.
And it catches a little bit in your throat. and then you carry on.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just like that. Yeah. And finally,
your mum.
Oh God. Finally, my mum. What pick and mix sweet? What pick and mix sweet is my mum? Oh God. She is. You know what? She's one of the favourites, isn't she? She's one of our favourite sweets. She's one of our favourite people. She's reliable. She's sugary. She is.
Is she jelly beans? Most of the time, delightful. Every so often, didn't like that one at all.
I always enjoy jelly beans. So for me, she can be jelly beans. Yeah. Your take on it may be different, but there's nothing I can do about it.
I know. I think they're delicious, but every so often I'm like, oh God, that one is horrible. Why did they suddenly become horrible? That's what I say.
Again, that's your take on it. Yeah. I think she's some delicious jelly beans. So yeah, thank you to all the patrons. And I mean, good God, if that hasn't made you want to sign up, then
we can pay you to sweets for crying out loud. Who doesn't want to have that ad done?
Whew. Well, that was fun.
Yeah, thank you, Robson Brothers.
Thanks, Robson Brothers. Check out all their stuff, what they said about. Check us out, Patreon all the social media. Yeah. You know, watching films on the toilet. Just find us, chat to us, give us some sweets.
Yeah, tell us your favourite sweets, but in a funny way. Don't just say like Mentos.
I like Skittles.
Or I like Toffee Crisp. I mean, that's not even a sweet. That's a chocolate bar.
There's a certain tone with which they're all delivering it. They almost don't pronounce the last part of the word.
Toffee Crisp.
Yeah, I like Toffee Crisp. I like Starburst.
Have you got a Mars bar?
Cadbury's Dairy Milk. Oh, it's so silly.
Oh, Ben, you saved the best to last there.
Sign us out.
Keep flushing.